The Gospel of Gold by G.S. Lewis. Chapter 15. The Good Samaritan. The afternoon had just started to wane when Marina and Gold caught sight of the ilex north gate, marking the upper boundary of the forest. Marina gave a whoop of joy, but Gold just stopped and stood motionless. After going a few more paces, Marina realized that Gold was no longer next to her and turned around to look at him. "Be still and know." "Why'd you stop?" she asked, tilting her head. "We made it! We're almost out!" Gold looked back the way he had come, and as he did, he felt a slight breeze blowing. "You can hear the wind." "I don't know," he replied slowly. I feel like there's still some unfinished business for me here. It's not time for me to go to the gate yet." "But you cannot tell where it comes from, or where it is going." Marina stared at him uncertainly. "Gold," she said, "you're weirding me out again." "I'm sorry." Gold looked up at her and gave his best imploring smile. "Go ahead to the gate. I'll be with you soon. I just want to be alone for a little while." Marina gave him a bemused look. "It'll be okay," he encouraged. "Trust me, I'll be fine." For a few seconds, Marina lingered, trying to read him. Then she shrugged, turned, and headed away. "Yell loudly if something happens," she said as she went. "I'll come running." Gold breathed deeply and closed his eyes, emptying his mind of thoughts. He stood and listened, feeling only the gentle breeze and waiting on something more. "Ask," said a quiet voice, "and you will receive." It wasn't a voice, but an intuition. Gold considered it slowly, then raised his hands. "Well, Spirit?" he asked. "Which way?" His back was to the north gate when the wind blew suddenly, nudging him forward enough that he had to shuffle his feet to retain balance. He opened his eyes and beheld the many acres of forest that stretched beyond sight into the distance. "The wind has spoken," came another voice in his head. "It wants you to go all the way back in the direction you came." Gold swallowed nervously, noting the steadily lengthening shadows at the base of the trees. It would be dark soon, sooner here than anywhere else, given how apt the trees were at blocking out light. He started walking. "You know this is a trick, right?" came the voice again, in a reasoning tone. "This is Silver's doing. Spirit herself said that he was the power of the air. How easy would it be for him to make a little wind blow when you ask for answers?" Gold kept walking, trying to ignore the queasy feeling in his stomach. "He wants you to go back in there, where you'll get lost in the dark, so that the Pokemon who come out at night can kill you. You're doing exactly that." A mild pain emanated from his heel. Gold hadn't even noticed it until now, but during his flight from the sniper insects in the trees, one of their poison pins must have connected. There were infinitely more where that came from. "Silver has control over these bugs, just like he did on that first night with the campers. There will be no mercy for you." Gold gritted his teeth and clutched his walking stick harder. The north gate was no longer in sight, but he made himself go on, one foot after the other. "What about Marina?" demanded the voice. "She'll wait for you. When you fail to return, she'll come looking for you, even in the dark. She'll be calling your name right up to the moment that the swarm descends on her, too." "Who are you?" Gold asked, stopping abruptly. Silence. All he could hear was the distant chatter of cicadas and the soft rush of wind in the branches. hidden influences are ever about you, he whispered to himself, recalling Spirit's words. In critical moments, heaven or hell will nudge your mind. He took another step forward. How much further will you go before you admit that this is stupid? Tell me your name! Gold shouted, slamming the butt of his stick onto the ground. This is not my inner voice, it's yours! Give me your name! A couple of startled Pidgey flew squawking from the overhead tree, but Gold paid them no heed. This time, when he moved forward, he marched deliberately, letting the name explode from his lips. Silver!
No!
Screamed the voice, losing all pretense of subtlety. At once, a squall of wind roared through the treetops, bending boughs and snapping branches in its fury. In any other circumstance, Gold might have been blasted off his feet, but the vastness of the surrounding forest served as a shielding wall. He endured the tempest with his stick propping him at an angle, while he shielded his eyes with an arm. As the seconds passed, however, he found that he could stand up straight, and he lowered his arm in spite of the debris flying around him. The vigor of authority welled up in him, a providence granted by something far greater than Silver's power. He lifted up his head.
Do not speak it, filth! It is my name! My name! My name!
Silver! Gold commanded, in a voice that rung with mastery beyond that of any Pokemon trainer. Be quiet! The effect was immediate, as when the door to a house is shut against the gale storm outside. As suddenly as the fierce winds had started, they were stilled, leaving no vestige of their fury but the scattered twigs and pine cones on the grass. Gold took a deep breath, then exhaled slowly, noting the slight trembling of his body. The expedition through Ilex Forest had been no easy task, but here and now he had faced down the real trial. He was sure of it. Once more, Gold felt the breeze at his back, blowing from the north. It pushed him gently forward, and he went along with it. The forest had gotten slightly darker, but all thought of turning back had vanished from his mind. As he walked on, the brightness seemed to return gradually, and his surroundings took on more of an azure hue. He felt the same curious sensations that he had earlier that day: easier breathing, cooler air, and the dreamlike state that became more pronounced as a slight mist obscured his vision. The north wind called me back, Gold realized, before he saw the creature. A few paces away stood the entity itself, Suicune, facing away from him. The royal purple cape on its back drifted to one side, revealing something on the ground that it looked upon. As Gold approached, Suicune turned to glance at him and stepped back. Gold's eyes widened as he recognized the black cap and uniform, complete with a blood-red R partially strung in webbing. This was the Team Rocket Man that he had been hearing about. And Suicune led me to him, thought Gold with wonder, as he stopped and stared. Why?